All right, and welcome back. As you know, we're trying to get all candidates on. And with me now, the incumbent senator from District 20, Senator Mike Fesi. Senator, good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you, Martin.
Yeah.
Doing well.
You know, now you've got a record now. You've been hitting the streets, fiscally conservative, just a conservative approach. Just tell me, how did the first go-around go for you, and what do you see as some of your accomplishments, and what would you like to continue to do?
Well, I saw that the first round, our first year we had COVID, so it was really a learning process, having to get through that with lack of everybody being at the Capitol on a regular basis. So once we got through that, things started rolling pretty well. I think I've got some pretty good accomplishments. One of them is actually one of my first bills that we got through was a constitutional amendment, which was for the unclaimed money, that was able to make sure that all unclaimed money goes back to the people instead of the governor getting to use it and play with it and do the things they do with it. Now it's locked in.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, especially when money gets tight,
Well, a lot of people don't realize it's $100 million a year on the average.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
What are some of the things as a delegation that y'all are proud of? Well, we know we had a lot of water control structures and different things, but there's a variety of things you've been involved in.
Well, being on the finance committee, you see everything that kind of runs through the Capitol, and as our delegation, I think we had one of the best delegations ever on record for the things that we brought back to my district and Terrebonne and Lafourche as an overall.
That is a fact. Delegation, I used to tout when Gordy and them were in office and the monies that were brought to Terrebonne Parish, but just looking at the amount of monies that have come down, it's been, especially when you're competing with New Orleans and some of the other bigger cities, per capita, maybe even without per capita, I think y'all might have beat them.
Well, it was a close race on per capita, but like I said, we got a lot of projects that we really needed to get done, push money towards, and a lot of things in the future, and I think we couldn't have done more than what we've done.
The climate, I'm sure you have heard it quite a few times. The big thing is insurance right now after Hurricane Ida. What are some of your ideas about trying to get people just a fighting chance, because a lot of people are, if they haven't moved, they're thinking about either downsizing. I know some families moving in with family members because the premiums are out the roof.
Yeah, between the flood insurance and now the homeowners insurance after the hurricanes is detrimental. It's just it's tough for anybody to be able to pay all three, pay their house note, pay their flood insurance, and pay their homeowners insurance. So there's a lot of challenges of what we have to do, because it's a fine line on what we can propose and force as laws on the insurance companies, because other than that, we're going to end up with 2 or 3, which is basically almost to where we're at. So one of the laws on the books is if your insurance company writes a policy and they keep it in effect more than 3 years, that they can never cancel it. They have to continue that policy forward. But what happens if people don't take care of their homes in those final years and stuff, and it causes a bad situation for the insurers to have to insure it no matter what. So there's just some of the rules we need to change to make it more competitive, to bring companies back into Louisiana. And there's a list of things that we have on the list that we need to work on. And with the new insurance commissioner, I think there's a lot of things we'll be able to do.
And you're right. You make a good point. We can't blame it all on insurance because they're in business to make money. So the homeowner has some responsibility to make sure they keep up the home. You used to build homes. I mean, you know how it is. You got to put the right amount of nails. You got to put the right amount of straps. You got to make sure that it can withstand pretty good winds. So there are some things that the homeowner absolutely has to do.
Well, if you look at the homes that's built under the new codes, let's take a look at the camps that, which was more like homes built on Grand Isle in the last 5 years. Most of those survived this with very minimal damage, if any at all, because they followed the code. So we do know in in South Louisiana, we do know how to build homes in a way that we can be protected from higher winds, and we just need to do that and get that momentum going. Building fortified is the way to go. There's a bunch of different things going on that we're trying to get pushed forth on the fortified homes. Fortified roof, most of the damage was done by lost shingles. Well, if you put ice and water shield on your roof prior to your shingles, normally 90% or to 95% of the time you won't have a leak in your home, even though the shingles blow off.
Right. Now that you got your feet wet, we got about a minute left. Everybody who gets elected, you got to give them a year because it takes a little while to learn the hallways and the bathrooms and everything else in Baton Rouge. You feel like you've accomplished that? You've hit the ground running pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. And just getting some of the bills passed that I did just this past year, like Ezekiel's law, and then we passed a DWI law that makes it more stringent for DWI offenders to take care of what happened to the 3 young ladies at Nichols, because that was, I think it was a 4th offense, and that should have never happened.
Just real quick, like you've almost become a victim's advocate kind of, Senator, with Ezekiel's law and that. It's close to you, isn't it?
Well, it's very close to me, having young grandchildren and knowing that we need to keep our population here. Over the last 10 years, my district has lost 10,000 people, so we got to make some changes in the state to retain our young people.
All right, Senator Mike Fesi, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more right here on Bayou Time. Don't turn the channel.